Alrighty, welcome to the I'd Rather Be Reading Comics podcast, issue number 1. I'm your host, Jake. We got Mr. Thomas.
Hello, everybody.
Ryan.
Hello.
And Alan.
How's it going?
Alright, so we had a structure set up. We were going to do Around the Horn where we talk about the 4 biggest headlines that struck the 4 of us. Ryan, I was told that you wanted to talk about Firestorm and the new casting for the show, Flash and Arrow.
Well, yeah. I just think it's really interesting that DC seems to be going for these secondary characters, because after the hit of Arrow, which is a secondary character for DC, they went straight for the Flash, which is one of the big 7. And now it seems to be that with the movies coming out and with these characters being a big part of it, they seem to be going after these secondary characters. I think the castings are good. I know not everyone has high opinions of Brandon Routh. He wasn't the best Superman that we've ever seen.
Now, who is he playing again?
He's playing the Atom.
Okay.
And then we've got Robbie Amell, who is going to be playing Firestorm for the Flash TV show.
Did they announce the his black counterpart? I know there's a white guy and a black guy that.
No, he's only been introduced as Ronnie Raymond so far.
Yeah.
They haven't announced. As far as right now, it looks like they're only going to do one person. I don't know that they're going to do the split thing with the Firestorm character yet.
Yeah, I don't know if they are either, or if they're going to go with the Dr. Stein instead of Jason. It all sort of depends on which way they want to take it. But I do find it interesting because out of the two, I think more people are familiar with Firestorm thanks to the Super Friends than who are with the Atom, who has appeared in a couple of episodes of Brave and the Bold and Justice League Unlimited, but I just don't think he has the same name recognition. I do also think it's interesting that they got someone who's mostly known for movies and Routh to play the character of the Atom. I don't know if there's going to be connection between the television shows and the movies, but this is a kind of a good way to get a character in, and I'm really hoping that there's some sort of joke of alluding to the fact that he played Superman when he appears in Arrow.
I always thought that DC should have used the TV shows as a platform to launch the movies.
Mm-hmm.
They should build off the success of Arrow. They should build off what's probably going to be a success in Flash. And then after a couple of seasons of the show, then elevate those actors to movies. DC kicks Marvel's ass when it comes to television.
So you're saying that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. wasn't a good idea?
I'm not saying it wasn't a good idea. It's just not properly executed.
I would agree.
DC executes their TV shows way, 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 way higher success rate than Marvel does.
Mm-hmm.
And if you build the characters and recognizable actors in the television shows, you should easily be able to transition that into the movies. You already have a built-in fan base.
Exactly.
So I don't like the only reason I don't like the casting is it's taking secondary characters, putting them on television. If they are introduced later into the movies, it's going to confuse people that don't know who these people are.
Good point.
Yeah. Like Constantine, how are they going to integrate Constantine? I saw a spoiler for Dr. Fate in the pilot. And I'm like, these are all the big characters.
Here's the other situation especially with Constantine. I'm glad you brought that up. That's on a different network. They can't cross-platform that.
No, they can't. Same thing with Gotham.
Constantine and Gotham and all those are all on different networks. So now they've taken all of those characters off the board in this expanded universe of Arrow.
Yeah, Constantine's CBS, right? Or NBC?
No, NBC.
I think NBC, yeah.
NBC, that's right, yeah.
Yeah, and Gotham's Fox.
Which I'm excited for.
So
it looks awesome.
So right now they couldn't put Constantine on Arrow or Flash or whatever shows they end up doing because NBC already has that show going. So whatever characters appear on Constantine will not be on the CW network shows.
Yeah. All right.
That's a problem.
That's a huge problem because Constantine's one of my favorites. And I think he
what,
would work well.
I think out of the characters, though, Constantine is a good character to take out of the DC universe, not because he's not interesting or not a character that I love, but I mean, he's been out of the DC universe for so long with the Vertigo title, when Vertigo and DC were separate, that he kind of has his own group of characters and cast that you can pull out of that's not necessarily going to affect DC, but now with news that they're talking about introducing the Spectre and the fact that Dr. Fate's helmet was in the pilot episode, you are going to run into some issues where characters that could be used for movies later are going to now be tied into the NBC storylines more so than the CW storylines.
They're stretching themselves too far and not capitalizing on their success.
Exactly. I would agree with that.
It's all about money.
Unfortunately. What
All right.
say you, Alan?
Oh, what say me? I don't know enough about Brandon Routh to make a call on his portrayal of the Atom, and I don't know enough about the Atom to like or dislike it so far. I'm okay with it, I guess. I'm kind of curious as to how it's going to tie in, how he's going to tie into Arrow. At the same time, I am a Firestorm fan. I don't know much about, Robbie Amell,
Yeah.
Steve Amell's cousin. I don't know much about Robbie. I don't think I've seen him in anything before, but the thought of Firestorm coming in does kind of get me excited. So,
You realize he won't have a flaming head and he'll just have like a hoodie on or something.
yeah, I think the TV show CGI is I don't think they have as much money to spend on that as they do in the big movies. So
Yeah.
it'll just probably be cardboard flames or something. something
Is he going to
terrible.
have... I hope he has, like, a terrible nickname, like how in Smallville was the Red Blue Blur, and it was the
Oh,
Vigilante, and now it's the Hood and Arrow. And
Well, you've already seen the Flash's costume,
yes.
so I'm afraid of what Firestorm's gonna look like.
Now, I haven't seen the
Uh,
Flash pilot. Like, do they show, like, lightning coming from his feet?
No,
They
No,
actually do a good job with the CG in that.
I did not see the Flash pilot either. Wink, wink.
Yeah.
It does not have lightning coming from his feet, from what I've been told. Wink, wink.
All right, let's go on to our next Around the Horn topic. New DC number ones. Anyone got any info on their most anticipated number one?
Not Clarion.
I would agree. I think that's... I was kind of shocked when I saw that one was even on the list.
Now, what is Clarion for people who
He's a
don't
witch.
know?
He's a witch boy, which I think would make him a warlock.
Is he a villain?
Maybe?
He was DC's poor attempt at creating a Loki.
Very much so, yes. Did Grant Morrison create him, or was he created before
He
that?
was created before that, but Grant Morrison was the one who brought him into the consciousness again with
Seven
Seven Soldiers. Yeah.
God, only Grant Morrison.
Yeah. I don't like with the new number ones. I think that there are some that look really good, and there are some that I definitely want to try. Like with the new Wonder Woman creative team, I know that's not a number one, but I want to see what the Finches do. I want to see how long it takes them before they're well behind on that book and it becomes bi-monthly or quarterly. Probably the one I'm most anticipating, and it's just because I think it's going to be an amazing train wreck to read, is going to be the new Lobo series, since you're going to be dealing with the new 52 Lobo as the main Lobo, and the Lobo that most people see as Lobo, or remember as Lobo, is going to be in its, like, very sparsely.
Well, they better show like a massive fight with the new Lobo killing off the quote-unquote fake Lobo.
They'll do that by issue 6 when the first sales numbers for the first 3 issues come in.
Yep.
Well, they said in an interview, I think it was CBR had an interview with Cullen Bunn, saying that the quarrel between the two of them was going to come to an end pretty quickly in the beginning of the series. So ultimately, I think they're going to establish the new 52 Lobo as the emo Lobo as like the Lobo. I hope they're not trying to kill off the other one and eliminate him completely, but somehow, some way, I think that they're going to mainstream this new one, and the other one's just going to kind of fade from appearance, you know.
Yeah.
Yay.
The most I've
Not
seen.
a fan of the 80s Lobo, Mr. Simon?
No.
Or
The
Faux
most-
Lobo?
The
Simon
most-
says that Lobo is lame.
I mean,
most-
Lobo was a low-end character before, and I still kind of liked him, but now, no emo Lobo for me.
See, I haven't had a problem with him actually in the books. I just don't think you could have made him a new character. You didn't have to name him Lobo. You could have given him a new name, made him a new character, and instead you're kind of like cashing in on the fact that you have people who like Lobo and will buy a Lobo book just because it says Lobo on the cover.
Lobo 2.0.
Iron Man 2.0. Remember that train wreck?
Yeah.
And then the Iron Patriot. That book's getting rough.
Now, you do have I was talking about Ryan with this a little earlier. I'm kind of excited for Deathstroke #1 being relaunched. Tony Daniels is going to take over. Is he drawing and writing?
Yes.
The series. Okay, so his Batman's always been hit or miss with me. He's a great artist. His writing, I think if the stories begin to get too in depth, he loses sight of the entire story. I think he always starts off with a beginning and an end in mind, and he just kind of fudges his way through the middle of the books. And I'm hoping he has a really clear line of sight for what he wants to do with Deathstroke, because Deathstroke's one of my favorite anti-villain heroes, pretty much in the DC universe. So I'm kind of really excited about this to see where it goes.
At least you know it's going to look good.
Yeah, if nothing else.
All right. What about Batgirl? You know who's going to take over from Gail Simone?
Yeah, it was announced. Does anyone have that in front of them, who the new creative team is? I think, like, the big thing for me was, like, how Gail Simone left the book. Gail Simone has, like, her own little niche following who will read any book that she puts out. And I'm not going to lie, I enjoyed her Birds of Prey run. I didn't really pick up her Batgirl run, so I can't really speak to it. But the fact that she left over editorial differences and then that editor left for Marvel is really kind of interesting to me, and it kind of shows, like, some of the issues that they're having.
Well, Simon has...
It's Cameron Stewart and Brendan Fletcher. Sorry to interrupt you.
And art by Babs Tarr. I did see the new costume, and I'm a little excited.
Yeah, Babs Tarr, yeah.
Yeah. I am not as excited that this seems to be trying to de-age Barbara. I like that she's an adult with adult problems. She's not a girl anymore. If they wanted to go... I understand the name of the title is Batgirl, but I enjoyed a more mature Barbara Gordon. I did. I like that she had been through some things in life, and I like that, I'm not a spring chicken anymore. I like that my age group was somewhat represented in comic books. That being said, Simon has some inside information about the editorial struggles at DC Comics, and there are quite a few creators who are not very happy with DC editorial right now. And she is definitely not the only
Isn't
DC
Jeff
creator.
Lemire leaving Green Arrow?
Yes, he is.
I'm so mad.
His last issue will be shipping in September, and he's looking at leaving the company as soon as possible. Since the New 52 launched, editorial's been so up everybody's ass about everything that they have caused creators as prolific as even George Perez to walk off of comic books.
Are you serious?
That's why he left Superman, yes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Hey, Simon, let's go back to Batgirl real quick. This is just an idea. DC, I don't know what their following is as far as readers go. I know that the New 52 relaunch, one of their big things was saying that they were willing to lose 20,000, regular subscribers in order to pick up 100,000 new ones. That was a sacrifice they were willing to make. Just looking at the way that the New 52's kind of gone downhill with all the cancellations since its inception, do you think that this new design on Batgirl and de-aging her is trying to bring in a younger female audience?
Oh,
do you
absolutely.
think that they're kind of targeting that as trying to bring in more...
Look who they hired to write and draw it. It's an indie creator that has pretty much no other mainstream comics credentials on the record right now.
Yeah, because I don't know who any of them are.
Yeah, they're going after that Lumberjanes.
Yeah.
My Little Pony. They're going after those audiences. The New 52 worked at the time. Yes, it did. It pissed off all the old readers, but they got a lot of new readers. Now their sales have cratered again, and they're panicking because they don't know how to fix it without doing kind of line-wide relaunch again.
Yeah.
So all of their titles, save the Batman titles, have gone back down to their pre-New 52 levels of sales now, and some are even worse.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah. That makes sense.
DC sucks. No.
DC sucks!
I like DC.
Make mine Marvel.
Indies!
Well,
Stanley, woo!
I'm excited because I want to see Andrea Sorrentino draw something completely different. instead of Green Arrow.
My last little tidbit for you guys this week is that he may be jumping ship from DC completely.
Dude, if he draws
And
anything,
I will leave it at that.
I will buy whatever he draws. His art is amazing. It is beautiful. I even read that Vampire. I didn't want to, but I was like, the art is so good.
That book was very underrated. Joshua Hale Fialkov is a fantastic writer.
Yeah, I mean, I had no interest.
He cut his teeth on that book from being an indie creator, and he's now combining both what he learned as a mainstream comics writer and what he already had as an indie comics writer, and putting a book like Bunker on the shelf, which if you haven't read it, guys, you need to pick it up.
When did it come out?
It's been, what is it, issue 4? No?
Yes.
It's on issue 4. No, I mean, one of the major things with the New 52, not to get like completely sidetracked, but a lot of the really great books that they were doing were the ones that they canceled, and that they didn't give time to really grow and turn and like to get an audience. A lot of those Jeff Lemire books that they canceled, Frankenstein, Agents of Shame, Animal Man. Those were like the best part of the New 52, where they kind of dropped the ball a lot with like Action Comics and a lot of their other really big titles I think people were really more looking forward to, even Justice League.
Yeah. I mean, with Justice League, I don't really know what's going to go on with that book.
It's classic Jeff Johns. He's got an idea, and he's going to throw it at you until you like it.
I hope I enjoy it.
Shove it down your throat.
No, the Justice League book that I'm loving, like, I did not read it beforehand. It's just Justice League Dark. Like, after this Blight stuff, like, it's one of the best Justice League books I've been reading. And I'm reading 3 of them. Justice League United / Canada. And, the normal story and Dark.
Justice League United is awesome.
Well, that was the book good. That I thought I was like, you know what? I could get used to this Lobo. I guess he's just so badass. And then Supergirl comes in and just
because he
destroys.
ripped Hawkman's arm straight out of his socket.
I was like, what the hell is this? All right. Well, our next and last headline I want to talk about is Captain America.
Or the new Captain America.
Yes. Now he's not dead. Which I was like, why don't you just kill off Captain America and do another?
They will.
Friggin' Ed Brubaker. But I'm excited because I love Falcon, and I loved him when he was in when Ed Brubaker did the story. I liked how it was Captain America, Black Widow, and I think Falcon were like the main 3 of that series. And I liked how he came in and he was like a really good supporting cast. And then, like, in the movie that came out, I thought he was, like, awesome. In my opinion, I thought he was a really good actor to play Falcon. But I'm excited to see where he's gonna go with, like, being Captain America. If he's gonna be Captain America, or if he's gonna be, like, Falcon America, or whatever. Like, you can't just get rid of Falcon. Like, he's awesome.
Well, there was rumors last week that in the movies, they're going to have the gentleman who played Falcon in Captain America 2 eventually take over as Cap.
What about
possibly
Bucky?
Around the time of Avengers 3. This seems like Marvel Publishing giving us a little bit of hint that maybe that some of those rumors may have been accurate. We all know that Chris Evans is walking off the role after Captain America 3 anyway.
Yeah, I think
that's all his contract.
Quits altogether, right?
Yeah, he wants to direct. It's not that he hates the character or anything. He just doesn't want to act anymore.
Yeah,
right.
So, to me, this seems like it's a bit of a nod, a wink, wink, nod, nod. Hey, look over here. There's a black Captain America. Foreshadowing, maybe. And I have nothing against Falcon. Sam Wilson, to me, is not a strong enough character to wield his shield.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that could also be because he's basically a blank slate. I mean, really, who knows who really truly knows that much about Falcon and
but who
his
said
personal history.
who said he has to wield the shield? Because Captain America, Steve Rogers, is still going to be a thing. Like he's like
Well, is he?
They said he's still going to have a role in like the Avenger. Like he's going to have a part.
He's gonna be Jarvis, basically.
He's going to be old Bruce Wayne from Batman.
No, he's going to be Stan Lee.
He's going to be the
He's
guy
going to
that
make a
shows up.
cameo appearance every
He'll
couple
be like,
episodes.
what is that? A DC book? Sure, I'll sign it.
No, I mean, I just don't understand why because you built Bucky up and you did like a really good run with Bucky as Captain America.
Oh, it's so good.
You got fans behind the idea that you can replace Steve Rogers with a character like Bucky Barnes. You have a strong actor playing Winter Soldier in Captain America 2 who has made it clear that he is more than willing to take up the shield as Captain America. He's stated that he would like to do the role in movies, but I think it really all sort of boils down to like, you know, they're going to try this Sam Wilson thing out. They're going to see if the Falcon can actually carry the role of Captain America, and I just don't know how fans are going to respond to it because, like Simon said, you don't really know a lot about him. He's kind of over the years since he was first introduced, he's kind of become a blank slate. Like he lost a lot of the stuff that made him an interesting character from those first appearances, where he was driven by anger and he was a little bit more of an emotional character compared to Captain America, who was like the tactician, and they really kind of balanced each other well. He's kind of become like, oh hey, look, here's a character that can fly and talk to his pet falcon.
But he was so badass. Just like Aquaman, he's a guy who can just talk to fish. He's more than that. Believe me.
Aquaman is the most underrated character in DC Comics.
He was when Jeff Johns was writing it.
No, I don't. On a whole.
Wait, hold on.
Yeah,
if you have not,
Aquaman. Wait, hold on.
if you have not read Peter David's Aquaman run, you are missing out. It is fantastic.
I like Aquaman.
That's the current one,
I
right?
have no ill will towards
No, the
Aquaman.
Peter
No,
David one
that was in the 90s.
That's when Aquaman had one hand and was hipster before it was cool.
You're a hipster.
I do not have a beard, nor do I have long hair, so I am not a hipster.
This is true. I can vouch. Ryan is not a hipster.
Yeah. I'm too fat to be a hipster.
I didn't say that.
Well, I did.
You said
So
that
there.
yourself.
Do you listen to Wilco?
No, actually I do not.
Okay, then you're not a hipster.
At first I was like, who? But then I figured it had to be a band. Or a singer. So I figured I could piece it together.
Alright, so I guess we can talk about our buy, borrow, burn, which is our rating system on I'd rather be reading comics.com. Basically buy, you need to buy, it's a good book. Borrow, you could probably pick it up and sit on the floor at Barnes & Noble and read. Or burn, which is just terrible. I know Spread came out, and that was a great book.
Burn.
What?
Oh, you didn't like it?
No.
Get out of here. You're full of
You're
baloney.
Justin Jordan hating, bitch.
It didn't go anywhere for me. It just seemed like it was a good concept, and the right writer came up with it.
See,
But at the same time, I don't see it as anything more than a miniseries. And even then, I see it as like a 3-issue miniseries. I could just see it dragging out for issue after issue after issue.
You see, I disagree with you because I see it more as like a lone wolf and cub. Like that's direction I could see
But
this book happening. So
I
you
don't-
have like that.
I don't
ultimate
need
guy.
to read. I don't need to read Lone Wolf and Cub clones because I already have Lone Wolf and Cub, and that's untouchable because it's amazing.
It is. I
That's
agree.
a classic.
Mhm.
I don't need a Lone Wolf and Cub clone that isn't done perfectly because I already have Lone Wolf and Club.
No, if we were,
I'll tell you why I loved it.
Go ahead.
In this day and age, you have you got your Walking Deads, and then everybody's in this major uproar over Outcast because it's the next thing that Kirkman did, and it's another crazy off-the-wall horror. Everybody's screaming zombie and all these wasteland and what's the word I'm looking for?
Supernatural.
The life after an apocalypse. You know what I mean?
Cultish?
No, not a cultish. Just never mind. So, anyways, it was something I was.
Dystopian.
Yes.
Throwing out words that no one knows what they mean.
It's an old wooden ship. No,
That's why Alan liked it. It reminded him of an old wooden ship.
no. I
Remember,
sincerely,
say ship.
I was expecting. I was going into it I didn't even want to read it at first. I was going into it expecting this was going to be some other, failed attempt at a new horror book that was somehow related to zombies or didn't keep my interest. And everything about it, I really enjoyed.
I give
I
it
like
two.
how.
Go ahead.
Oh, excuse me. No. I like how little the main character talked and that he was named No. I like the tendrils. I enjoyed everything about it. I think the art was really good, and it's a very unique story, and I think it's got a lot of directions that it can go. So
I give it
That's
two
it.
issues until it's aliens. No, I'll
thanks
give
for
you.
ruining it for me, Simon.
I'll give you one thing. The baby on the cover is fucking creepy as hell.
Right?
Yeah.
You see, like I said, I want to see where this series goes. It wasn't my favorite series that I picked up. It wasn't even my favorite #1 that I picked up last week. But I enjoyed it. I will pick up issue 2, and I will see where it goes. It doesn't necessarily mean it has a long time on my pull list. But if you're going to grab my attention on an issue 1, you got to do it right out of the gate, and it makes me want to read issue 2.
I agree.
Yeah.
So how many? So okay,
Buy a borrow, burn.
I burn.
I say
Really?
I say it's an
Simon
issue
burns
1, and it's going for $18, so it's a buy.
Is it really going for $18? Damn.
Yep.
Jesus.
It's a buy for me, man. Right now, it's a buy.
I thought it was a buy. I mean, it's between a buy and a borrow because I'm not too big on indie titles until, like, I like to read my indies in trades so I can actually enjoy them and not have to wait a month. So,
He's part of the problem.
Yeah, he's a hipster.
shut up! I still read my
Starbucks
books.
is calling you.
Hold on, I'll be right back.
Why don't you go to Starbucks with your tablet and read some comic books?
Shut up. All right. So
Next
another
book.
a book that I thoroughly enjoyed, did not think I would actually like, Rocket Raccoon.
Bye.
100% buy.
You know, I liked it. I wasn't in love with it. The art style was good. It just didn't grab me the way that I thought it was going to. I think that it's part of the hype machine. I think it falls under the same category that Outcast did with me, where like everyone was telling me how great and awesome the book was, and then I picked it up and it was good, but I just see it as a borrow. You can kind of see where the story's going. The art is really amazing, though. I will give you that. Scooty Young knows how to draw.
Oh yeah. Scooty Young?
Whatever.
No, I mean,
Scotty.
I wrote the review on I'd Rather Be Reading Comics.com for Rocket Raccoon #1, and I said it's like I'm happy he didn't like deter too far from the hot babes, big guns, big action. Like I'm happy that he went that route instead of like doing a whole different like sentimental. Like he was still with Groot. Like he wasn't. It wasn't like a solo. So I don't know. I'm hoping to see it go far, if it goes far. All
All
right,
right, well, I didn't read it, so can I borrow it from somebody?
I'll give you the code if you want it.
I like the idea of Rocket Raccoon. I think he's a cool concept for a character. I'm intrigued. It wasn't on my pull list, mainly because I forgot, because I didn't think about it. I'm not opposed to reading it. I want to check it out.
Yeah. Another one with Rocket Raccoon. Did anyone read The Legendary Star-Lord?
Bye.
I did not read it.
I thought it was a
I
buy.
need to borrow that one, too.
I didn't.
No.
I just.
Here's the
We
thing.
didn't discuss this one.
Well, no, like it's on the trail of Rocket Raccoon. Like I thought it was good. I didn't think it was great. Like it was. It
I
felt
thought it.
what?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
It felt like they were trying to like monopolize off of the bigotedness of the Star-Lord. Like in the movies, they showed him as like this funny, kind of prickish kind of guy. I mean, I don't think he's a prick because like I know like Guardians of the Galaxy, all that crap. But like I'm like, why are they trying to make him like a I don't know, a man? Like he's trying to see Kitty naked. I'm like, what is going on? I was like, all right,
Do you read Bendis' Guardians?
yes.
this is the exact same Star-Lord from Bendis' Guardians.
See,
This is why I like the book. The character came over from basically walked off the Guardians page into his own book, and they kept the character's voice, look, and attitude all the same from the original Guardians book. Instead of, like, you'll see Wolverine act differently in his book than in an Avengers book. You'll see Spider-Man acting differently in his book than the other Spider-Man comic books. You know, I like when there's continuity, and this story for me had continuity. It tied into the Guardians book with Kitty and them flirting with from the crossover from All New X-Men. And that's who Peter Quill is as a character. He's a jokey, never really took anything too seriously except when he had to type character. And I thought that translated really well. And I also thought Paco Medina really killed it on the book with the art.
oh my god, yeah.
Yeah.
art was
So
amazing.
for me, that was my surprise buy of the week. I really, really enjoyed that book.
I missed out.
Yeah, it wasn't
Yeah.
on purpose.
Sure, it wasn't.
No, I really want to get into the Guardians. I haven't read them since the DNA run. I picked up the .1 with Bendis when he started, but I never bought the series, and I think I'm going to have to pick up the trade because I keep on hearing good things about it.
Dude,
I'm going to have to go back to it. That's, see, what killed it for me was I read .1, 1, and 2, and Iron Man, I was like, no. Iron Man was it. I'm not going to read this.
dude, I'm kicking
But I've been
myself.
hearing such great things. I need to go back and actually read it now. I want to give it a second chance because it started off. I figure they put Iron Man in there as like a linchpin to try and like launch the series because it wasn't a strong enough cast of characters to do it themselves.
Yeah.
I don't
I
think
figured
it's necessarily that it wasn't a strong enough cast of characters, but it was definitely like stunt casting. Like, hey, come and read this book because Iron Man's in it, and you know who Iron Man is, and you know this
exactly.
movie's coming out in August, so
Yeah.
why don't you give it a try?
that's exactly what I felt. That's how I felt. Like they needed Iron Man to actually give it some backbone, you know, some support. So
Yeah, I'm kicking myself now because I bought it when it came out on the iPad because I was like, I don't really know a lot about the Guardians, and like I was like, okay, I'll give it a try, and then it came to a part where I was like, I just want to buy it in the same single issues, but eBay was going for so much money, and I was like, this is ridiculous. I can't do this. It inflated too high. And then I started reading. You said the DNA run way back. And I was like, that's a pretty good series.
How old are we when we're like, man, the DNA run was way back and it was like 6 years ago?
I know. Doesn't it feel longer though, like that Annihilation happened?
No.
It does to me. It feels like it was longer than 6 years ago. It
the
feels like
serious Simon Thomas doesn't age either.
All right, let's
I'm
move on.
162 years old.
Let's move on to our next book. Let's see. I didn't read Grayson number 1. I don't know if
Neither did I.
Yeah.
Neither did I.
Okay, so I'm the only one who read it.
All right, Ryan, we all need to borrow it.
All right. It was fun. I'm not gonna sit here. I'm not gonna tell you that it was great and that it was epic, but it reminded me very much of like a 90-minute action movie where it was like a really fun read. I had no expectations going into the book. I've liked Nightwing in the past, and I know that a lot of people like the previous run on Nightwing, but I felt like that Nightwing they were really trying to make him Batman. Like that they were trying to give him his own Joker, his own kind of rogues gallery that really kind of mirrored the Batman rogues gallery. And this is a new way to take the character, and you still have that voice of Dick Grayson. It was just like a really fun book. It was definitely worth a read, and I was kind of pleasantly surprised by it because I wasn't expecting much going into it. I was expecting to hate it, and I really liked it.
Yeah, I mean, it's next on my read pile. So, and I read the 3-minute page snippet in every single DC book that came out, and I was like, I like the whole train, badass take over the train thing. So, I mean, I'm excited to see where it goes.
It really reminded me a lot of like a good Roger Moore James Bond movie. Like that's what it reminded me of. It wasn't anything that was like really far out there or really or far flung. But it had its moments where you really enjoyed it, and it was kind of fun seeing Dick Grayson in a little bit of a different role. Yeah,
I mean, I'm excited to read it. It's next on my list. So, Well, since you're the only one who read that, let's move on to our next book. I'm pretty sure everyone read Spidey 2099.
Loved it.
Dude,
Burn.
What? No! Why are you saying burn to all the good books? God damn it, Simon. Alright, so I personally liked it because I like the more funny characters. Like Scarlet Spider was like more comical. It wasn't like a serious beat 'em up. And I like how like he can like do whatever he wants because he has all this money and all whatever. So Simon, why didn't you like it?
Well, I was never a big fan of the 2099 comics anyway. And with
Yeah.
the characters already in Amazing Spider-Man are present. Theoretically, his book is supposed to take place before he came back. Is that what I was understanding when I was reading it?
No, it takes place in our time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's in
Okay.
Because that
2014.
robot comes back and say you're gonna. We need
Yeah,
to
that guy
eliminate
is
you.
from-
Okay,
future.
okay.
But it takes place with everything that's
Here,
going on.
okay,
in Spider-Man.
here's most of my issue. About six pages into it, I was like, why does this book exist? I am just as big Spider-Man fan as Alan, and I don't need another Spider-Man book. We just got Peter back. This is my big problem with what they're doing with Spider-Man right now. We just got Peter back, just like a month ago,
I think
and
that's
they're
why
already.
Marvel's doing it. They figure that they see the success of bringing Spider-Man back. They're like, hey, we can coattail this into another Spider-Man series. And since
But I don't-
what's his name, Miguel O'Hara was such a huge. Well, I don't know that he was a huge, but I mean he seemed to be an integral part of bringing Peter back, at least in the last few episodes or issues of Superior, I should say. I don't want to say it was fan demand, but I mean I think they thought he was popular enough to bring him. You know, I don't know if they're going to try and do an entire 2099 relaunch with all those series from the past.
I guess I'm the wrong guy to ask because I've never liked the character that much, and I enjoy him when he pops up in other books like he did in Superior Spider-Man. I don't think I need a Spider-Man 2099 comic that's going to last enough to get 2 trades out of it and get canceled like Scarlet Spider.
Okay, so as a non-Spider-Man fan, as someone who doesn't buy Spider-Man on a monthly basis,
What?
yes, we do exist. I actually like Spider-Man 2099, but I like the original Spider-Man 2099. The 2099 series came out at the right time. I thought it was going to be the Ultimate Universe before the Ultimate Universe was the Ultimate Universe. So I thought I would try all those books, and there were only 2 of them that I liked, and it was Spider-Man 2099 and it was Doom 2099. And the thing that really impressed me about this book and made me pick it up was the fact that Peter David is back writing the character, and it has a lot of the Peter David beats that I really like. I like the humor that Peter David can work into a book. I thought the villain was interesting. I think it has a chance to be a really good series, but you're going to run into the problems that you always run into with time travel. And they did a really good job in the first issue kind of foreshadowing things that are going to be coming up in the near future.
I kind of want to see him kick. What is that guy's name? Tiberius Stone?
Yeah, it's his father.
No, grandfather.
Whatever this kid's name.
Time travel.
I want him to kick his ass. I want Spidey to kick his ass.
I just want it to be Back to the Future with Spider-Man.
Oh, all right.
I really enjoyed it. I think I can see where Simon's coming from with, why do we need another book? But that being said, I actually really enjoyed it. I thought it was written well. It was quirky enough. I like the guy that came back from the future to eliminate Spider-Man.
Your son will die in 11 years. What? I was like, what?
My condolences for your loss in 11 years. It was hilarious. And then the part where she's like, you're not Spider-Man. Spider-Man jokes. And he's like, oh, my God, a priest, a rabbi, and a nun walk into a bar. How did none of them see it? Fine. It was actually pretty quirky. It was actually really well written. I enjoyed it. I never really caught on with the 2099 series in the past. I thought it was it just seemed like a really stupid idea to me back in the 90s, so I never followed it, never went along with it. I can get on board with just one Spider-Man 2099 right now for a little bit. I'll ride it out and see how it goes. If they start throwing more $20.99 titles in, I'm just going to be done with it, though.
I don't know if they're going to be able to do that. I think the one thing, too, is as a Spider-Man fan, you're going to end up buying that book anyways, whether you want to or not, because if you don't think they're going to tie that book into Spider-Verse, and there's already talk about Superior Spider-Man coming back and maybe getting his own series, you're going to be looking at...
He's not coming back.
Book.
That series is going to take place, when he went back in time?
Yes.
And he came back and he said, "No, you can't stop me, And I'm like, I'm excited for it, but I'm not happy that they're like, he's back. Like, he's not back. Like, I hope he doesn't come back, but I hope he does, because that run was my absolute favorite of, like, the past 2 years that I've ever read. So
I just think that, like, it's gonna be like the Green Lantern books with Spider-Man. Like, you're gonna have to buy them all, and they're gonna do event books, and they're gonna keep those books running as long as they can, because they know that they've got all of you Spider-Man fans on the hook, and you'll buy as many books as Spider-Man appears in if you need it to finish the story.
That is why I dropped Green Lantern. Alright, so I give Spidey $20.99 buy. Simon?
I guess I'll go borrow.
Ryan?
I will go buy.
And Alan?
I definitely think it's issue 1. I think it's worth a buy.
Alright. So, I guess that basically to, like, recap if you want. I like Spread. I thought it was good. I'm excited to see where it goes. I might not pick up another issue until it comes out in trade because I'm a hipster, but I hope it's good. The Guardians of the Galaxy solos were very good. I didn't read Grayson, so Ryan.
It was definitely a buy.
Give
it a shot. See how you feel about it. You don't have to keep it on your pull.
And Stingy Simon gave Spidey $20.99 a borrow at least. So we all gave it a buy.
You changed my mind.
All right.
Peer pressure.
Are there any books you guys are excited that are coming out this week? July 16th.
Simon has something to tell all of you.
All right.
If you are a Marvel fan of any kind, casual or hardcore, you have to buy Uncanny X-Men 23 this week.
No.
You have to buy
tell
it,
them.
and you have to read it.
No. Think of me as Larfleeze. They're all mine!
Uncanny X-Men?
It sows the seeds for things that are not going to pay off until next summer, and they will be big. And it starts in this issue.
And this is also an issue I think a lot of people were looking forward to because it's the last will and testament of Charles Xavier, and Marvel has been putting that book out there anyways on a lot of their ads and things to make people pick it up. But, whenever there's a big X-Men story, it's definitely worth checking out the issues.
Hey, Simon.
Yes?
I know we spoke briefly earlier about that cover, the Chris McCullough cover, which is nothing special. Is this book going to have a limited print run of any kind? Or
They printed their regular allotment, but they are holding back a few issues for reorders. So if your store's out of it on Wednesday, immediately tell them you want a copy. So when they reorder it, you get a first print. If not, they're already planning a second, and if it sells well enough, a third print.
Okay. I was unsure if my LCS was going to have it. It's not something I normally pull, so I just actually earlier jumped online and got one at Midtown.
Yeah, no. Whenever it's X-Men, you should be able to find it. A lot of places carry it, but if it's got a hot story that's going to be paying off, even a year later, people are going to be buying it.
Simon says that if you're a Cyclops fan, you will not like this issue.
Oh, good thing I hate Cyclops then.
I think most of the world hates Cyclops.
No,
I love Cyclops.
Well, that's because he was kind of an ass when they did, what was it, Schism? He kind of portrayed himself to be an ass.
But he was right.
He had to be. Cyclops has always been an ass. That's why he's the leader.
No, he really has. I mean, go back and watch your old X-Men cartoons from the 90s.
Yeah.
Or any of the Bryan Singer's movies, since that's the only one that Cyclops has appeared in X-Men and X2.
How would you feel if you had some hot, muscular guy with claws trying to always take your girlfriend?
Yeah.
You'd be an asshole, too.
All right, well...
Now that we've gone that far off topic,
all right.
Anyone else have any other books that they're looking forward to?
Is anyone reading Original Sin?
Yes, and it's fantastic.
I'm excited
You
for
know
the
what?
sixth
I
book.
have all of the issues, and they're on my read pile. But
What?
every time I get a new one, every time I get a new pile of books, they go lower and lower, and I'm gonna eventually have the whole series and read it then.
That book made me want a Doctor Strange Punisher team-up book more than any other book they could possibly publish right now.
That looks really interesting, and I'll tell you what, they put Black Knight on the cover of Original Sins, which is a tie-in series, which I have heard is terrible. But if
Yes.
you put Black Knight on the cover of something, I will buy it. So Marvel, you at least will sell one copy of a limited series about Black Knight, because I will buy it.
I've stayed really far away from that. I'm really kind of just done with the Marvel events.
Which is a shame because this is actually a good one.
Do you guys?
Yeah, no, it's too late to go back now. I've kind of given up at this point. After what was the last one with Thor?
Siege?
Fear itself.
Yeah, after Fear itself, I was just kind of like, yeah, I'm kind of done with all these events and crossovers. It gets to be too much.
Yeah, and it's like that's the worst part about being a Green Lantern fan right now. Jacob, you said you already dropped.
Same thing going on over in DC. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you've got Uprising, which ended this week, and DC has already announced the New Gods Green Lantern tie-in series that's going to be going on in September or October, and you just don't get a break as a Green Lantern fan. You don't get to read that like a good Hal Jordan story anymore. It's just a real shame that everything's got to be tied into every other book.
Yeah, I'm going with DC. This event, Robin Rises Omega.
Yeah, #1 that comes out this week.
It's $5, so it's gonna be big.
Yeah. I don't know. It's going to be bringing back Damian, or it's going to be introducing a new Robin. I really don't care.
Words of wisdom.
I can't say I do either. I mean, it's worth noting because it's a #1, and I guess in some weird places it's probably considered a big deal, but
My Comic Shop, it's the most requested title this week.
Really?
We're going to sell 35 copies.
Wow. I don't care. I really
I don't think they do either.
But it's just because everyone thinks it's going to be this big event and it's tied into Batman, and there
Well,
are so many.
I want to say something about what Alan said with issue 1s. I'm starting to think that issue 1, the fever, is a misnomer. Issue 2 is routinely almost as valuable, if not more valuable, usually.
That's because you see lower print runs.
Yeah, because there's less ordering, because you have to order in advance, so you don't know how issue 1's going to be.
Exactly.
As a retailer. I'm starting to think that issue 2s are the ones that speculators are going to start focusing on more than issue 1s.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
I just wanted to mention Wicked and Divine #2 comes out this week.
Yes.
I was actually just going to bring that up.
If
Oh,
you
so
did
you want
not
the
read
image?
it, if you did not read issue 1, you should pick
you're
up the
dumb.
second. You should pick up the second print this week, and if you're still on the fence, read my review on the website. And at least sold Alan on buying a copy.
Yeah, I literally, from that, as soon as I got done reading Simon's review, it was after its release. I was unsure if my LCS had it, so I went and bought one straight off of eBay. And I wasn't disappointed. I think I read maybe a little bit too much into the review. I was expecting a lot out of it, and it didn't disappoint me. I wasn't upset with it. I really enjoyed it, but it wasn't. I don't know. I think maybe I got myself a little bit worked up over it because I was expecting this really fantastic story. It was good. It was great, actually. I don't know. It's kind of hard to tell where it's going to go from here, and there's so many directions that we can end up with it. But I'm definitely going to be picking up #2, so I'm excited about it.
It's definitely a book worth giving a shot.
I didn't read #1.
You're missing out, man.
I'm that hipster. I'm going to when it comes out in trade.
If you were a hipster, you would have read it.
And you have told everyone how awesome it was.
It is a total hipster book.
Well, there are two indie books I do read monthly that are coming out this week: Manifest Destiny and Rat Queens. You guys reading those?
I love Manifest Destiny.
No.
Rat Queens is great.
You guys hear an
Borrow.
HBO show?
Burn.
What?
Yeah, it's going to be a cartoon.
It better be a badass cartoon with murder and naked trolls
It'll be like
and
Spawn.
midgets and
Wait,
The
hold
Spawn
on.
cartoon.
What did you just say, Jake? Maybe I should be reading this.
dude,
Did you
this
say murder with
Dude.
naked trolls?
and like at the beginning of the 6th issue, it's like after a huge party because they won or whatever, and they're all just waking up from their nightly sex duties, just getting ready for breakfast, and I'm like, okay.
All right, hold on. I'm going to eBay right now.
Just buy the trade.
Yeah, that's a
hipster.
good idea. Yeah, maybe I'll do it. I'll hipster it.
Jake it.
What about Teen Titans #1? It's coming out this week.
I really want to read a book with Kenneth Rockefeller's art, so I will whatever his last name is. I do want to read it, but I don't know anything about like
The
Teen
art
Titans.
looks fantastic in that book.
Yeah, because he's amazing.
I'm gonna give it a shot because I'm a Will Pfeiffer fan from back in the day, from Dial H for Hero, from his run on Aquaman.
Wait, you're the only guy in the world that was a fan of Dial H for Hero.
I like Dial H.
His run on Dial H was
Okay,
really
you
good.
two can both go to an island.
No, he did some really good stuff. I picked up a couple issues of Red Hood and the Outlaws because he was writing them, and I wasn't really impressed with that story. But I'm going to give it a shot because, I mean, he has a proven track record with me as a fan that I enjoy what he writes.
But didn't he just start writing Red Hood? Like, didn't they just
he wrote
switch that?
3 issues.
Yeah.
He wrote 3 issues of Red Hood.
Is he done writing? Is he done writing that now?
Yeah, he's only going to write 1 book a month. So
Oh.
he's going over to Teen Titans.
All right. Well, is there anything else coming out that we didn't mention yet?
The only other one that I was thinking about was Magneto. I think we have enough Magneto supporters here.
If you're not reading that book, you're missing one of the best books that Marvel's putting out right
Dude,
now.
I dropped Magneto.
Oh,
It was very good, but when it came time to like saving money, I was like, I don't really want it.
there are so many books that like I don't have very many Marvel books left, and I'm starting to trim the fat with the DC books as well. But
Yeah.
Magneto will probably be on there for a very long time, just because I've really enjoyed where the series is going and how they're keeping him as a villain, but giving us insight as the audience to why he does what he does, and kind of let us almost justify with them his actions.
Yeah. What about Unity? You guys reading any of Beautiful Valiant work?
Yes. Alan, you're wrong.
You didn't even say
What are you
it.
buying that garbage for?
Pick it up in a dollar bin. They did it in the 90s.
No, listen, man. When they were relaunching Valiant, I was probably the most excited guy in town because I was a big fan of Bloodshot, Ninjak, Rye, Archer and Armstrong, all those back at their back in the like late '80s, early '90s in their original series.
Yeah.
But something happened. I don't know. Maybe I grew up and my tastes changed because I don't know. I really enjoyed Bloodshot actually when they relaunched it this last time. But then
Did not like
the
Bloodshot.
Unity thing. I enjoyed it. It got too in depth, and their entire universe is crossing over with each other, and I'm like, doesn't do it for me.
Too much for me. Yeah, I hear you, man. All right. Well, I mean, do you guys have any other books you wanna?
No, I think
Mention.
that's about it.
Yeah, I think that's it. There's some good books worth checking out this week.
You know, actually, one more book. There's a book that I really want to read. God is Dead. You guys reading
book-
that?
That book's fantastic.
Now, what is it about?
The gods revolt against each other and go to war, and the human race is caught in the middle, and they all pretty much die, and the gods all kill each other. That's the best way to put it.
Oh,
And
spoiler warning.
Hey, now.
No, there's no spoiler warning. It's called God is Dead.
I wanted a
No,
spoiler.
it's
so I
a
could've
very-
told my ears.
It's a
The
very
title
well
is a
made.
spoiler.
It's a very well made book, and it's not your typical Avatar books. It's not all just like uber violence and violence with no point, and there's actual story to it, and it's really well made. Mike Costa's kind of killing it on it, so check it out.
All right, so we had our around the horn, and I'm gonna pick a winner for no points, no reason at all. I really liked your discussion on Lobo and how much you're like iffy on the subject. Like, you want Cullen Bunn because he's amazing at what he does with villains, and you don't really want to see new emo Lobo take over. So, Ryan, you are the winner. And we'll do clapping. Woo, yay, alright.
Yay, there's much rejoicing. All right, so I want to use this time to kind of promote a book that I'm sure a lot of people didn't pick up. It's called The Life After. It came out last Wednesday. It's a new series from Ani. It was the first issue that came out. It stood out to me. It was literally a book that I just picked up because it was a #1, and I like trying out the smaller presses #1 to see what I like. It's an interesting sort of concept. It deals with the afterlife for suicide victims. So it's all about the afterlife when you commit suicide, and kind of blend that in with The Matrix, like where you have this world that's kind of created for these people so that it's a purgatory for them. The thing that really sold me on the book was that Ernest Hemingway makes an appearance, and you can tell that he is the drunken legend that we have all heard so much about, and the book just seems to be taking it in a really interesting direction. When the first issue ended, I couldn't wait to pick up issue 2. It's right up there right now with a lot of the other books that both Boom and Ani are putting out, such as Letter 44. So if you're looking for something new that's a little off the beaten path, definitely give it a try, guys.
I mean, I thought about giving it a try because I like the art. I don't know why. I was like, the art actually looks really good. So now that you highly recommend it, I will be giving it a good read.
I was surprised. I will admit, it takes a couple pages for the story to pick up, but once it kind of gets into what it's about, you're gonna find yourself really kind of interested in where this book is gonna go.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds pretty interesting, actually. I would have never even thought. Ani's been putting out a lot of great stuff, so.
Yeah, well, I mean, like with Letter 44, like a lot of this.
Yeah, it's a home run. Letter 44 is a home run.
Yeah. And you're always going to pick up that Image, DC, Marvel, Valiant stuff, but are you going to pick up books like Dead Letter from Boom or The Woods from Boom? I mean, there are a lot of really great books coming out from Ani and Boom and Dynamite right now that a lot of people haven't given a try.
All right. Ryan, where can I find you on Twitter?
You can find me at rbaldoff2814.
How do you spell that?
You spell it R_BALDAUF2814.
All right.
Well, to contact Mr. Thomas, you have to use the Force.
You must call upon him. But you have to
I
murder a virgin.
I probably still won't answer.
Use the Force, you must.
Just Simon says, "Listen to me," and then you'll be good.
I mean, all right.
If you need to get a hold of Mr. Thomas, just contact one of us, and we'll put you on the list.
Yeah, and you can contact us through the I'd Rather Be Reading Comics.com website. You know how to spell I'd Rather Be Reading Comics. Well, that's it for issue number 1 of I'd Rather Be Reading Comics podcast. I hope you guys like this and are happy to see where we go. Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Have a good one.
Bye.
Spider-Man, friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Wealth and fame, he's ignored. Action is his reward to him.